The sun is just coming up over Cairo's Mahdi district. It's about 10:00 a.m., a quiet morning in April 2025. For the local fishermen on the Nile, it's just another day, a routine they've known for, well, for decades. But today, their gaze catches something completely out of place. It's far out, in the deep channel of the river where the current is strongest. They spot this sack.
And it's not just any sack. It's bulky, it's waterlogged, but it's floating in a strange way, almost like it's full of air, but also carrying something incredibly heavy.
Right. It's not near the shore where you'd expect trash to collect. It's right there in the middle. As they get their boat closer, the first thing that hits them is the smell. I mean, it's just this foul, overwhelming odor. One of the fishermen, out of a mix of, I guess, duty and fear, hooks the sack to pull it alongside. It's heavy, so heavy. He tears a small hole in it just to see what's inside.
And that's the moment he sees it.
Unmistakable human remains. They seal the tear, get back to the bank as fast as they can, and call the authorities. And just like that, the police are faced with this colossal puzzle. A body, tightly bound, and deliberately thrown into the deepest part of the Nile.
It's a clear attempt to make sure this person is never, ever found.
Today, we're going to walk through how investigators took this one single clue, an unrecognizable body, and followed the river's path right back to the killers.
When the police and the dive teams arrived, the first challenge was just retrieval. I mean, this was not a quick operation.
Because it was so waterlogged.
Exactly. The body was so saturated, it took specialized equipment just to get it to shore. No. And once it was out, the physical evidence immediately told a story about time. There was extreme bloating, advanced decomposition. The forensic team knew instantly this victim had been in the water for a long time.
So not just a couple of days.
Not even close. We're talking at least a full week, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
Which meant, visual identification was completely impossible.
And the way it was packaged, that tells you something about the killer's mindset, doesn't it?
It tells you everything. The outer sack was tied securely at the top and the bottom. But inside that, the body was wrapped again, this time in a large, thick, black plastic bag.
Wow. Double wrapped.
It's a profound effort to not just hide the body, but to contain it, to mask the odor. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was premeditated.
And when they finally extracted the body...
It was a woman, fully clothed, but like we said, no facial features left. No ID, no documents, nothing. Her hands and feet were bound, and medical tape, like plaster from a pharmacy, was wrapped over her mouth.
The binding, though, that was the first big clue, right?
That was the clue that shifted this from a murder to something much, much darker. The impressions from the restraints on her wrists and ankles were deep, embedded.
Suggesting she was tied up for a long time.
For a very long time, and well before she was killed. This wasn't for convenience of dumping the body. This was torture.
So the police have an unrecognizable, tortured woman found in a place that makes no sense, the middle of the river.
Precisely. Usually a body is found near a riverbank. It's easy access. Finding her in the deep center meant one of two things.
Either she traveled a huge distance,
or the killer used a boat, sailed right out to the deepest channel and dropped her in. And that suggests local knowledge, specialized equipment, a whole different level of planning.
And at this point, they're at a complete stalemate. They check missing person reports for Mahdi, Old Cairo. Nothing. No matches for a woman in her early 30s.
They had to rely entirely on the body itself.
And that's when the forensic medical report comes in. This is where the case just breaks wide open.
The report confirmed everything they suspected and added so much more. Female, early 30s. Extensive bruising, confirming the prolonged beating and torture.
But then they found something really unusual, an injection site.
That's right. The analysis showed she'd been injected with an air bubble, an air embolism. It's a method you see in movies, but it's clumsy, rarely effective.
And there was something else in her system.
Significant traces of powerful sedatives, narcotics. So she was drugged, she was beaten, and then they tried this clumsy execution method on her.
And now we get to the two twists that changed everything. First, the air injection. It wasn't fatal, it failed.
Right. The actual cause of death was drowning.
Which means...
It means she was thrown into the Nile while she was still alive. That's why she was tied. That's why she was so heavily sedated. All that torture was just the prelude to the final act of drowning her.
Just devastating. And then the second twist, the one that completely reshaped the motive.
The woman was pregnant.
How far along?
Approximately 4 months. Suddenly, the police weren't just looking for a killer. They were looking for someone who had a violent, profound reason to destroy not just this woman, but the child she was carrying. The brutality. It screamed of something deeper than revenge. It screamed of shame.
So the question becomes, how do you trace a body that's been floating down a massive river for a week?
This is where the science gets really impressive. They took the time of death 1 week and calculated the speed of the river current and the wind direction for that entire period.
Wait, really? They can do that?
Oh, yeah. They used hydrological data models to essentially reverse engineer the crime scene. They knew where she was found, under the Ring Road Bridge in Maladi. The models told them where she was likely dumped.
And it wasn't Mahdi.
Not even close. The calculations pointed significantly further south, maybe 15, 20 kilometers upstream.
Yeah.
The launch site was likely in or around Helwan.
So the entire investigation just shifts focus.
Instantly. They
Wow.
moved the whole operation to Helwan, started questioning local fishermen in that area, and that's when they got their first real human lead.
The eyewitness.
A fisherman. He reported that about a week before, late at night, he saw a boat with 2 or 3 men on it moving down the center of the Nile.
Yeah.
Very unusual for that time in that area.
And the timing matched perfectly.
Spot on. He couldn't identify them, but the location and the time were perfect.
Yeah.
It was the confirmation they needed.
And soon after that, they found it. The missing person report.
An elderly mother in Helwan had reported her daughter missing. A woman in her early 30s named Abeer. The report was filed 3 days after she disappeared,
They show the mother photos of the clothing.
and she recognizes them instantly. It's Abeer. They finally have their victim.
Okay, so now they dig into Abeer's life, and this is where things get complicated. She's 32, divorced for 2 years, lives with her mother, but there's that immediate contradiction.
Divorced for 2 years, but 4 months pregnant.
Her mother explained that Abeer's work often took her away for long stretches, sometimes months at a time, but she always called. This time, she just went silent.
But that was the story Abeer told her mother. The reality, as security investigations soon uncovered, was very different. Her marriage ended because of her husband's anger over her. Multiple strange relationships.
A pattern she continued after the divorce.
Yes, she was engaged in multiple relationships, often for financial compensation. A life she hid completely from her mother using the traveling for work excuse.
So the immediate theory is that the pregnancy is the motive, one of the partners. But again, that brutality just doesn't quite fit a simple revenge plot.
No, the level of rage, the desperation, it felt personal. Deeply personal.
And that's when the investigation takes a turn toward home. Detectives noticed 2 things. First, the mother filed the report alone. And second, Abeer had 2 older brothers, Allah and Salem.
And neither of them had come forward. No calls, no sign of concern for their missing sister.
That's a huge red flag.
A massive one. The initial interview with them was disturbingly normal. No anxiety, no grief, just apathy.
So they dig into the brothers, and the security checks reveal the one detail that just snaps everything into place.
Salem, he was a fisherman.
And he owned a boat.
He owned a boat.
Oh.
Suddenly, all the pieces connect. You need a boat to dump the body in the mid-Nile. An eyewitness sees 2 men on a boat near Helwan at the right time. Abeer has 2 brothers, and one of them owns that exact boat.
And the detail about her disappearance. She told her mother she was leaving for an important errand and would be back soon.
Suggesting she was meeting someone she knew, someone she trusted.
So they bring the brothers, Allah and Salem, back in for a second round of questioning.
And this time, it's different. The calm is gone. They're extremely nervous. And when the police lay out the evidence, the river currents, the eyewitness, the boat, they break.
They confess. They knew about her lifestyle.
And most critically, they knew she was pregnant.
So what was the story they told?
It was tragic. They said they constantly argued with Abeer about her absences, about the rumors in the community. They felt she was bringing dishonor to the family.
And when she came home after a 3-month absence, they confronted her?
They saw she was pregnant. They demanded to know who the father was. And Abeer gave them the one answer that pushed them over the edge.
She didn't know.
She told them she truly didn't know. And for them, that was the final straw. They told police they decided to wash the shame with their own hands.
How did they do it?
They asked her to meet them at Salem's house. It was empty. When she got there, they started beating her, intending to kill her.
But she survived the beating.
She survived.
Mm-hmm.
And in their panic, they improvised. They tried the air injection they'd seen in movies. When that failed and she was still alive, they completely lost it.
They decided to make sure.
They taped her mouth shut. They injected her with a heavy sedative so she couldn't struggle. They bound her hands and feet, and then they put her, still alive, into the plastic bag and then into the sack.
And carried her to Salem's boat.
Under the cover of darkness. They sailed out deep into the Nile, and they dumped her into the water, knowing she would drown. Then they went home and acted as if nothing had happened.
Unbelievable. A crime they thought was perfectly hidden, undone by river physics and a single fisherman's observation.
It's an incredible synthesis of modern science and old-fashioned detective work. The river almost erased the crime, but investigators used the river's own path to lead them right back to the killers.
They started with nothing, an unrecognizable body, and connected it to this deep-seated cultural motive, this pursuit of honor.
And it leaves you with this really sobering question to think about. In a world where forensics can track a river current down to the meter and detect a tiny air bubble in a vein, how often are these incredible tools being used to solve violence driven by these ancient societal pressures? What does it actually take for someone to sacrifice their entire future, their freedom, in the name of what they see as a necessary, honorable duty?